athletics event on?
Yeah. A brief one, President. You have rolled out a plan for athletics for the next 6 years or 8 years till 2030. One area that caught my attention was kids athletics.
Yeah.
Tell us briefly, considering the plan you have in place, how would this develop the sport across the country?
Look, I see kids athletics as being a hugely important element of our sport. It's an obvious thing to say, because young children that get into patterns of exercise, whether they go on into athletics is in a way irrelevant, but I want them to form patterns of exercise and patterns of exercise in their formative years. It's very, very challenging to try to change the mindset of a young person when they're 15 or 16 that have never been involved in exercise. So kids athletics for us is not just about identifying more young talent that will come through the ranks and go from the playground to the podium. It's about finding more young kids that are prepared to exercise regularly, and that becomes a pattern for their lives, and their children and hopefully their grandchildren are in an environment where they see parents regularly exercising. So for us, kids athletics is also an important tool for governments, because governments love creating new things, but actually so many of the things that they could be working alongside happen in sport, and kids athletics is a tool that governments could be using as well.
I do recall you granted an interview last year and you had admonished the government of Ghana to bring back school sports. Tell us briefly just how...
I wasn't particularly admonishing the government of Ghana. I was admonishing governments all around the world for not doing more during the COVID months and years for giving access to young people for exercise. It was hugely important, not just for their physical well-being, but crucially for their mental well-being. And I couldn't see a good reason why, under controlled circumstances, we shouldn't have been doing more. This is not a criticism necessarily of Ghana. I spoke to many governments in many countries about the need to try and make it easier for children to exercise during the lockdown periods.
My final question: you went through the bid that was submitted by Kenya for the 2025 Athletics Championship. Just how close were they to hosting the champion, and how close is Africa to hosting the World Championship?
Look, these were 4 really spectacular cities. They all had very, very different contributions to make, and they had very different assets. Clearly, one unquestioned asset in Kenya is the love of athletics, the passion for it, and the extraordinary quality of the athletes. There were challenges around the stadium, which would have needed a great deal of refurbishment, and there was concern expressed by the council about the time frame and the quantum of resource that would be needed in order to refurbish that. But I've spoken to the Kenyan Federation. They know that I am fully committed to helping them or any other African country stage a World Championships in the foreseeable future.
Have you spoken to Ghana Federation?
I haven't spoken to the Ghana Federation, but I've certainly spoken. You would understand I will be speaking to Nairobi, particularly because it was their bid.
Yeah. So just talk to me about the Ghana.
No, I think I have to go now.